Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really powerful idea from Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about making real, lasting change in our lives. So, Stephen Covey uses this quote to get right to the heart of the matter. It perfectly sets up these two completely opposing philosophies. You've got one that works from the inside out, changing yourself to change your world. And then there's the other, the outside in, which is all about trying to change your world to try and fix yourself. And that really leads us to the core question here, doesn't it? Do we find happiness and success by just hacking away at our external problems and behaviors? Or is there a deeper, more fundamental level that we really need to work on first? So let's break these two philosophies down. They really represent two very, very different paths. One is totally focused on the surface, and the other? Well, it goes right to the core. The best way to think about this is with a simple analogy. The outside-in approach, it's like hacking at the leaves of a tree. You're just focusing on the attitudes and behaviors. Sure, it might give you a quick fix, but the problem, it just grows right back. The inside-out approach, on the other hand, strikes at the root. We're talking about our character, our deepest beliefs, our motives, and that is where real, lasting change happens. Okay, so how do we actually start to work from the inside out? It all begins with this huge realization that Stephen Covey himself had about where our real power, our power to choose, truly comes from. Just picture it. Covey is living on the north shore of Oahu. He's got this quiet office right next to these sugarcane fields. And one day, he's just wandering through a library and stumbles upon a single paragraph in a book that completely changes his entire perspective on life. And this was the big idea. He said it hit him with unbelievable force. The simple, profound concept that between what happens to us, the stimulus, and how we react to it, the response, there's a space, a gap. And in that little space lies our power, our freedom to choose our response, our growth, our happiness. It's all decided right there. It's such a powerful question to ask yourself, right? Are your responses just knee-jerk automatic reactions, or do you consciously use that gap to choose how you're going to act? It's in that space that we make the shift from just being reactive to being truly proactive. Now let's see how this actually plays out in a real-life example from Covey's own marriage. This story, it reveals something pretty startling about what it truly means to understand someone else from the inside out. So the issue was this. She had an absolute obsession with one specific brand of appliance, Frigidaire. I mean, she wouldn't even consider another brand. And to Covey, it just seemed completely illogical and, honestly, frustrating. He actually said this one little issue felt symbolic of all irrational thinking, and it just generated a ton of negative feelings for him. Whenever it came up, he'd just shut down and kind of retreat into what he called his dysfunctional private behavior. But during that year in Hawaii, he and Sandra had been really practicing deep communication, and they developed these two kind of unspoken ground rules. First, no probing, just listen with empathy. Second, if things got too painful, they'd just stop for the day. And these rules created the safety they needed to finally explore this really tender issue. So one day, they're out riding their motorcycle through the cane fields, and they just start to talk. And what Covey learned, it completely changed his perspective, and not just about the appliances, but about his wife. It turned out that years and years ago, Sandra's father's business was about to go under, and Frigidaire was the only company that would finance his inventory and save him from financial ruin. So her deep connection to that brand, it wasn't about a machine at all. It was a subconscious expression of love and deep loyalty to her father. And here's the crucial point. They realized that when you deal with the superficial stuff without seeing the deeper, tender issues underneath, you're basically trampling on the sacred ground of another person's heart. Even things that seem totally trivial can have roots in our deepest emotional experiences. This personal breakthrough revealed a huge universal principle. All of us, we have these scripts that we've been handed from our past, but we also have the power to change them. And this is the idea of becoming a transition person. Instead of just unconsciously passing down negative family patterns, a transition person is someone who consciously recognizes those scripts and decides to rewrite them. You become the link in the chain that changes the future for generations to come. And this idea isn't just for families, not at all. Covey points to Anwar Sadat, who literally changed the course of history between Arabs and Israelis. How? By first changing the fabric of his thought. Real change, it always starts within.
All right, let's bring this all together. How can we apply this incredibly powerful idea in our own lives? What does it actually look like in practice?
Okay, here's what you should take away from all this. First, focus on your character, the root, not just the quick fix behaviors, the leaves. Second, consciously use that gap between what happens and how you react. That's your freedom, your power. Third, before you judge, try to find the Frigidaire story behind what other people do. And finally, remember that you have the power to rewrite your script and change your legacy. So, to end, here's a thought to take with you. What seemingly irrational behavior, maybe in yourself or in someone you know, might have a deeper, hidden story? A story that if you only understood it, could change absolutely everything.